Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's 2015. This will be after week one, Pepman's best to last. I'm Dale Ross.
I'm Pepman Matt Morrow, and believe me, if you're gonna fuss at me, that's fine. Because it's like you were just saying off camera, it's hard to do this after week one. But we've got an idea of where some teams stand right now, and some of this, like the Carolina Varsity Report, over time this stuff will shake out. We'll see where everyone really sets up. But right now, I'm gonna start at the bottom and work my way to the top.
Okay.
That's how I do this. So that's how I'm gonna present it. 22, I got Garinger. Saw them in person. They look like they're still working through some things a bit on more so offense and defense. They're still aggressive on defense, but offensively, I think they're working at a new quarterback, trying to get him involved in more or less making reads and schemes and that kind of. They played the next team on the list this week, number 21 at Harding. Obviously, like I said last week, I know most of these guys. They're young, going through scheme changes, obviously, playing up at Huff. Article said they gave up 11 sacks. Those numbers are subjective sometimes.
Right.
What could be defined as a sack could really be a tackle for loss. So you take that with a grain of salt. But those two play next week.
So this is not a hate thing because this is a Ram. And
not at all.
He's not a hate thing at all. So I don't know that I can argue with that, Pat.
Number 20, I got West Meck. You saw them.
Yeah.
Against Vance last week. They had some positive moments, but obviously the game got out of hand. So I think that's where they are right about now.
Yeah, could the game got more out of hand? I don't know. I'm an Indian. I know they're Hawks now, and I hate to see my guy. At least we're above Harding, and you better keep it that way all season. Anyway,
that'll be settled last week.
That'll be settled last week of the season. So again, I'm kind of with you on this.
19 is Porter Ridge. They didn't play yet. They play Piedmont coming up next week. So don't really know, what we got out of Porter Ridge, but we know they're young. Expectations aren't too high right now, but they'll get a good test in Piedmont. They beat Hickory Ridge last week, which was somewhat of a surprise to some people. So that'll be a good test for them. Number 18, we got Olympic. Olympic struggled against Butler. They're young. They got a sophomore quarterback. They had 8 turnovers against Butler, from what I was told by a reliable source. So it looks like they're going to have some growing pains with the young quarterback there and getting their things going, especially on the offensive side of the ball. Number 17, I got Hopewell. I think they played really well against Garinger last week. I think they performed better than expected. So hopefully they'll keep moving up the list here. 16, North Meck. They lost by 10 at Lake Norman. It's not a bad loss by any means.
Right.
Some people said on the forum that they had offensive issues.
Yeah, so the comment was, and I was going to bring that out, said both teams, Lake Norman and North Mecklenburg, had offensive issues. And that was 35 to 30, what was it?
37-27.
37-27. So I'm thinking and I actually made a comment, if they both had offensive issues, what does this say about their defenses? So it's only got bigger problems with defenses than if they got offense. You can put up that kind of.
But like I said before, over the years, that Lake Norman North Meck game's always been kind of weird. It's always something
it's a rival.
It's a rival. So you
game.
Never know what to expect there. So I'm kind of still holding judgment on North Meck. 15 East Meck, obviously improved from last season. But they had that good game against Berry, who I got at 14. So those guys are obviously real even there. 13 West Charlotte. I liked what I saw. They shut out a team in Southeast Guilford that was 10-2 last year for most of that first half. I'm really impressed with their defense. Offensively, they're keeping it simple. They pretty much stayed in one formation from the time that we were there. But their defense is going to give people trouble. Coach Hart, obviously, former defense coordinator at Winston-Salem State's doing a good job getting that side of the ball right. And once they get their offense going, on a consistent basis, they're going to be tough.
Okay.
They're going to be tough. Number 12, we got Huff. Obviously, they won, big over Harding this past week. They got Mooresville this week. It'll be a good test.
The Harding game doesn't really tell me an awful lot because as you had there, only Garinger you only have below them, so it's going to be hard to really say what that says about Huff, but Mooresville's going to be a test.
We'll learn a little more about them. Number 11, Rocky River. Tough loss down at Richmond, but there's no shame in losing to Richmond at all.
We don't know what Richmond's got quite yet, but Richmond's always a top team, right? So Rocky River could still be in a tier with some of their partners out of the conference,
right? And
Richmond just might be that good.
Yeah. Number 10, Myers Park had a good win down at the stadium, obviously over Country Day. Like you said earlier in the other video, you were saying about Coach Chadwick and his comments about how, they could have played better in areas, but he was glad they got the win and pulled it out at the end. So that's where I think they are right about now. And, number 9, this was tough, and we talked about this before we started. I got A.O. Brown at number 9 and Independence number 8. Now, that was real close to me. I like Independence's potential still, even though they obviously are having some early on, issues. I think if they played right now, Independence would pull it out. But
I've seen Brown and I've seen Independence both, and personally, I would put Brown over Independence. But that's just me. Hard to say because they ran into a machine.
And that's what I took into consideration there. I mean, we'll get to that.
Exactly. Sure.
I got Audrey Kell at number 7. For reason for that, they led Weddington for 3 quarters.
Right.
Then Weddington, we all know the 4th quarter what happened there, and Weddington obviously took control and won the game. But still, that's a good sign for that defense we were talking about with Audrey Kell. Are they going to be able to come together and play well? And obviously, for 3 quarters, they did. They shut out, real good 318. But, 4th quarter, Weddington made the right adjustments, and they got it done at home. But I still think they're in that second tier that we're in right now.
Right.
Number 6, very impressive, Providence. Big win down in Somerville.
Yeah.
And you just don't go down there and win. Like that. Especially you got a coach that's coming in, brand new schemes on both sides of the ball, brand new quarterback, and, they won 10-9, but reports saying that Providence really played better than the score indicated. I put South Meck at 5. Now some people are beating them up over beating Marvin Ridge. The way they did, only winning by 11. But I'm telling you, Marvin Ridge has a good coach. Former Lake Norman offensive coordinator came over there. They have talent in Marvin Ridge. Yeah. This is not the typical 3-8 rebuilding type of program that they are down there. They can be a good team, and we both know South Meck very well.
Well,
and
exactly.
I think this is where they deserve to be right now.
And I think this whole is part of it's people just want to talk trash. 3A, and you can't, and I understand, but you got to remember that Marvin Ridge has had 3A teams that beat over half of the 4A teams that are out there. So if Marvin Ridge could be a 4A team, it could be, and they've beaten lots of 4A teams and blah, 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 do you really have to weigh a lot into that? I kind of agree with the pick.
And then I got Butler at 4. And now, I know you were saying something earlier about Butler.
Right.
They did win big, 44-0. And, people were saying it was an ugly win and, they had struggles here and there. But, you can kind of go down the list with the exception of Providence and pick out something for each one of these teams below them.
Right.
To say they didn't do this well, they didn't do that well. So I give them, credit for really taking care of business against a team that, they should have did that again.
So the argument, of course, one of the arguments, and it may be true, is that Butler played to the level of their competition. And they still won 44-0, but they were not as, so the reports I got from the people that were there. So this is a hard one here for me,
Mm-hmm.
I see why, and I can understand why, and I give the benefit of doubt personally.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost agreeing with everything you said here. I'm giving the benefit of doubt that they were playing in the Olympics.
Well, we'll see this week, won't we?
Oh well, they're gonna find. They're gonna find out. I got a feeling they'll respect Mallard Creek a lot more than Independence did. But yeah.
Number 3, Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
The score surprised us, but
Yeah.
you know the fact they won didn't. Christian is not a slouch.
Exactly.
Obviously, a lot of talent on that side of the ball. Good game.
What is Christian? 2 or 3 time
I think
state
they're
champion.
2-time state
Two-time,
champions in their
right.
private classification. So Catholic's number 3.
I agree with that. I agree.
And then Vance number 2, very impressive, winning over West Meck.
Yeah.
And then of course number 1, Mallard Creek. You know,
Can't argue that.
Yeah.
I can't argue. I think that's a good 1, 2, 3. The only question I have
Mm-hmm.
is, and I think we got like from Butler down to Providence as a tier, maybe, and then maybe Otterkill, Independence, and Brown, you know, at a tier. So my question here in the top 3, I don't believe they're all in the same tier.
I think Mallard Creek's
Above everybody.
Right.
My question is, how close is Vance and Catholic, and then how far apart is Mallard Creek from Vance? We just don't know that right now. At least I don't.
We'll find out later on in the season.
Vance is on offense. They're better than they were last year at the end of the season, and this is the first game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So offensively, I think that they are clicking. They're fast. They're athletic. Defensively, I felt like they could have done more because it was West Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, Mallard Creek, on the same hand, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think they played near peak performance. That ought to scare some of you out there. That's how scary good this team could be. So Pep, you did okay, I think, best to last.
Let me know. I know you will. We'll post it up, and hopefully we'll see some teams move up next week. Thanks, guys.
You might be hearing from Garinger.